That man's having a tiddle. Welcome everybody to Riding with Friends, episode 11. This week we shall be talking about depression. And specifically we're going to be talking about my experiences with depression, because disclaimer, as I say in every single episode, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a trained psychologist, I am just somebody who unfortunately has mental health issues and wishes to talk about them in the hope that anybody that's listening may take something from it, whatever that may be, is here to help. So disclaimer out the way. And incidentally, before we get started, for the bikers amongst you, I just found a setting on my bike that makes the quick shifter even quicker. So it's now a quicker shifter. And it's so smooth, the gear shifts are just up and down buttery smooth now, it's fantastic. Moving on then, depression. So I learnt that I had depression 4 years ago when I started therapy, but didn't realise I'd actually been living with it virtually my whole entire life, due to many different things. But yes, I've been suffering with depression for a long time. All these years I thought I was just an arsehole, but apparently no. And I've got to stop swearing as well. I think the algorithm's punishing me for my bad language, so I need to behave. So depression, yes, not sadness. I'm not talking about being sad. I'll explain the differences in a bit. But yeah, depression is horrible. It can catch you off guard and it can affect your whole life. It's bloody awful. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Depression generally can strike at any time. Some people may not know they've got it, and some people will often confuse sadness with depression. They might go through some bad times in their lives and they believe that, it's depression, where actually you might just be going through a bit of a sad moment. So what's the difference then? Sorry, I'm getting all confused now. I'm thinking about loads of other stuff. My brain today has been, it's been 1,000 miles an hour. It's been ridiculously chaotic. I broke an ornament that we'd had in the house for like 20 years. I was trying to do loads of tasks and not finishing them and buggering off and going to do something else, halfway through the washing up, then going and have a shower, and then coming back and trying to finish the washing up and doing something else. It's been absolutely chaotic today in my brain. I don't know why. I haven't got ADHD, but I wonder if this is what it feels like. Because, I can't focus. I'm just all over the shop. So, depression and sadness, what's the key differences? So in realistic terms, sadness is triggered by a key scenario, so something will happen. It could just be a bad day at work, it could be the loss of a loved one, a loss of a pet, it can be any number of things, and the trigger is really down to the individual. You can't just say, oh, that wouldn't make you sad. It's an individual thing, but it's short-lived and it's controllable. And the one thing that is really, really different is the fact that it's triggered by something that is known, and it can be very, very short-lived for, down to a few minutes, a few hours, maybe up to a few weeks, depending on what's happened. But the reality is that it doesn't alter your life in a significant way. But sadness is transient, it has a known trigger, and it's short-lived. That's the main thing. People can experience sadness a lot or often and confuse it with thinking they have depression because they always feel sad. But you could present that person with something joyful and they'd enjoy it. You could present them with a hobby that they enjoy and they would go and do it. That's the big difference. Depression is much, much more deeper rooted. Because with depression, it's a life-altering thing. Your fatigue levels can change. You can suddenly become really, really tired and exhausted and not know why. Your weight can fluctuate, so increases or decreases in weight. Your sleep can change dramatically. You know, you could be a professional sleeper 1 minute and then not sleep for 3 weeks, you know, only get 2 hours a night. It dramatically changes your lifestyle patterns. But what it also does is it actually takes away your joy. Uncontrollably takes away your joy. So even things like riding the bike, which is one of my biggest passions, you know, I can sit at home when I'm in depression and not even give a shit that I own a bike. You know, even if I was out on the bike, I'd be like, all right, yeah, I feel a bit better now, but it's not better. It's not better. You're doing it, and that's it. You know, there's no joy to it. You're just doing it. There's no pleasure. And that's the big difference, really. You know, one of them is a temporary thing, triggered by something that's known and it's short-lived, but you do have levels of control over it. Whereas depression is something that it can creep up over the period of weeks or months, and when it hits you, it can last. It will normally last 2 weeks, but it can go on. The longest period I was in was 6 months. And that was 6 months of solid depression. And it was awful. Since I've done so much work on myself over the past 4 years, I think the longest bout that I've had now of, you know, quite serious depression, where I've had to take time off work because I've got no motivation, I'm constantly exhausted, etc. The longest bout I've had is probably 5 weeks, something like that. But I am in a constant state of depression, if that makes sense. So my sleep can fluctuate nightly, and even a day like today, where I'm, you know, considerably at a good day today. It's not bad, you know. It's nice weather. I'm not feeling too bad. Even now, my motivation is shot. I don't want to do stuff, you know. It's horrible because I want to be able to really go and do loads of stuff, but I just can't, you know. I just struggle. And for me, that is by far the biggest difference, is having that control over it. So when you hear people saying, oh yeah, I think I've got depression, I'm just sad all the time and I just feel lonely and stuff like that, I'm not saying you have or haven't, but ask yourself the question, if somebody was to present you with your favourite thing to do, would you be able to go and do it? You know, happily. That's your big difference. Are you sleeping well? Has your eating habits changed? Have you suddenly noticed a massive lack of energy and fatigue? And I'm not just talking, oh, can't be bothered. I mean, like I tried to go for a run this morning. I managed 1 kilometre and I had to give up. I've got no energy. I can't do it. It was horrible. So those are the big differences. I'm going to go stop and visit my mama. Once I come back out, we will continue to talk about this, but we'll dig into some of the stuff that I try to do, and it's really difficult, but some of the stuff I try to do, not to pull myself out, because you can't. Depression is one of those things, when people say, oh, can't you just be happy or pull yourself out of it? If it was that fucking easy, sorry, shouldn't swear, if it was that easy, then depression wouldn't exist, would it? Yeah? That's like saying, can you not be autistic? Yeah, it doesn't work like that. Absolutely does not work like that. So I can certainly talk you through some of the things that I do to help. And we're also going to talk about some of the signs and symptoms that I get when I know it's coming, because it does let you know it's coming. The signs are there, and if you can spot those signs and you've been with a really good therapist, you know, really good talk therapist, there are actually opportunities where when it lands on your doorstep you can be much better prepared. But for now, we're going to go and have a cup of tea with Mama. Now, I'm struggling to remember where we were. and what we were talking about. I think I was going to talk about hints and tips, and I was going to talk about identifying the approach of depression. So let's talk about the approach first, because that makes sense, doesn't it? So there are some key things that you can keep an eye out for, and again, this is just me talking here. You may experience slightly different things, or a few of these. You will experience some, because they are synonymous with depression. But there are certain things that are probably just me, really. So, for example, I know when depression's coming on because I start spending money, or I start yearning to spend money. My brain starts seeking for that dopamine hit. That's when I start realising that it's coming on. Another one I can get is suddenly an overwhelming, and almost instantaneously I can suddenly get hit with, I can't be bothered. A whole lot I can't be bothered. But it's not just I can't be bothered to go to work, or I can't be bothered to do exercise, or I can't be bothered to do something. Mine is like everything. It's like the whole world, just like I can't be bothered to earth at the moment. So there's absolutely nothing that I want to do. So that's one of mine. And another one of mine is the immense lack of sleep. So I really do suffer with my sleep when depression kicks in. We're talking like I could be wide awake until like 2 a.m. I go to the living room, I doom scroll for an hour or two, back into bed at 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I got my alarm set for 6, ready to get up for work. It's a nightmare. And then you get, as I've mentioned earlier, I just start to feel so, not lazy, because lazy I think is a mental state. I mean physically just exhausted, just physically tired, just like no energy. Somebody said, here's a 5 kilogram weight, can you lift it? I'll be like, ugh. Well, mentally I can't be bothered, and physically I actually can't be bothered either. So it becomes very, very difficult to function then, because your brain is saying, no, I don't want to do anything. Your body's saying, no, I don't want to do anything. You don't want to deal with anyone. You don't want to talk to anyone. You suddenly become less conversational. And all these are signs that something's coming. And it might be that it's going to hit you in the next few days. It might be that it's going to hit you in the next week or two. But when you see these signs coming on, when you feel the fact that, you're getting tired, or, suddenly like, oh, I didn't sleep well last night. If that starts happening a few nights in a row, and you start feeling a bit lethargic, a bit can't be arsed, maybe a bit more irritable than usual, the silliest, slightest little things, and you start getting a bit snappy with your loved ones, probably take note. Yeah, just take note. Just think, oh, this could be depression coming my way. So those are a few of the signs that certainly I've noticed. And anybody that knows this area that I'm riding around in, this is a little. Well, I say little. It's not little actually. This is called Wellesbourne. It's where I grew up as a wee young'un. And anybody that knows this area well will know that the loop I'm doing is bloody pointless. Really, I'm literally just wasting time and mileage so that I can talk to you fine people. But anyway, so identifying it early. So I've now started to be able to pick up on when I think depression is creeping up on me. I haven't actually pinpointed the timeline yet between when the symptoms start, the overeating in my case, because I do overeat. I'm a terrible overeater, which is why these leathers are struggling to stay on. But I do tend to overeat a lot. My sleep is terrible. I do get really ratty, and I know it's happening. I know when I'm shouting at my kids and I shouldn't be. And then I have to, wind it in and go and apologise to them and go, look, I'm really sorry, blah, 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 blah. But I haven't actually pinpointed yet the time difference between when all those symptoms start and then the actual depression hits, that moment where I go, right, there it is. I'm now basically good for nothing. Planet Earth has left the building, and it's just me and my not wanting to talk, can't be bothered, lethargic, horrible kind of rubbishness. But I can sense it coming. So this builds us on then to the hints and tips. So what are some of the things that you might be able to put into place to help when these things are coming on, if you can see them coming on, and once they hit you and they do cripple you. Please don't think I'm over egging this at all. This is one of the biggest differences between diagnosed depression and people that now, for some reason, in this mental health infested world that we live in, all these people out there that think, you know, I've got this, I've got that. This is it can be a life crippling thing. It can change you dramatically because, like I say, this is a physical impact of depression which you don't get with sadness. Sadness is an emotional state. It's temporary and it's linked to something. Depression is a mental and physical block. It's horrific. And when it does strike, it strikes hard. And for most cases, you're powerless to do anything about it. But one of the biggest, most powerful things that I've realised, certainly through my sessions, is acceptance. You have to accept. It doesn't make anything change. It doesn't make anything go away. It doesn't make anything any better. But the moment you can accept that it's happening is a big step, because, and I've mentioned this before in previous videos, that's your first step to forgiveness, because you have to forgive yourself. It's not you. You can't help it. This is something that has happened to you in the past to develop what is going on now. And through talk therapy, through correct therapy, you can identify and, you know, maybe try and offset something, you know, maybe even get rid of. There's no cure for depression like being an alcoholic. The moment you're diagnosed as an alcoholic, you are an alcoholic. Even if you've not drunk for 30 years, you are an alcoholic. You can't shift that. Depression is very similar. You can't cure depression in that way, but what you can do is implement lots and lots of things to help you live with it. And you can almost dull it down as long as you can see it coming and put the right things into place. And acceptance, for me, was one of the most powerful tools, because it's giving yourself that it's forgiving yourself. Because once you forgive yourself, then life becomes easier. You realise that it's not your fault, so blame takes a back seat, and blame is massive. Blame is huge in depression. Now, the next one we've got, and I got this wrong actually from the start, which is select your audience. So there are people that you probably need to have around you, because you might want to talk, you might just want to know that people are there, that you're not alone, but be selective on who those people are. Don't pick people because, you know, they're the in crowd or anything like that. You need people around you that genuinely care about you, that actually care about you as a person and want to help. I'm fortunate that I have people around me like that. Now, when I say I got this wrong to start with, is because when mine hit, I went to a room on my own. I went somewhere away from everyone because I wanted to take what I saw as the hate and the anger away from my loved ones, because I thought, no, they don't need this. So I used to go and hide somewhere. And when I said that to my therapist, his response was like clear as day. It was, mate, that's bad. It's like, don't do that. Don't hide yourself away. Because you need people around you. You need to be able to talk to people. And like I say, be very selective who they are. If you don't have anybody around you, then I'd honestly find someone, even if it's a friend, a neighbour, somebody on the end of a phone, just somebody you can talk to. Even if watching this video back helps, you know, just knowing that somebody's there and that they've got your back is huge. Yeah, it's very, very helpful. So surround yourself with people who actually care, not patronise, not sit there and go, yeah, I'm the same, or, you know, yeah, that happens to me as well. You know, this isn't a battle, this isn't a challenge, nobody's trying to best you in any way. Is surround yourself with people that care. So you've got acceptance and you've got people who care around you. Those are two great things. One more thing that I want to cover, but I'm about to go out onto, like a noisy bit of road, so I'll do it in a minute. So we've got acceptance, because acceptance is important. Knowing that it's coming, knowing that it's now there, and just accept that, okay, this is how I'm now going to feel. I don't know for how long, but this is now how I'm going to feel. Let people know. Let people know, the people you care about. Let people know that, I'm not okay. That then leads on to forgiveness. Forgive yourself. That's important. It's not your fault. You've got to ride through it now, and you need people around you that are going to be there to support you. Have at least one person, because they may just be there as an ear for you to talk into, and that's important. A nice empathetic ear for you to talk to can be so powerful when you're just trying to explain something. You might be trying to express how you feel, and expressing that can actually just help, and that's important. And finally, it's time. And people, I think, forget this one. And I don't mean time as in now sit back and wait. I mean time as in give yourself time. Allow yourself to stop, take a sit back and think. Really think things over. If somebody says something, allow yourself a bit of time to process it. Have you heard what they've said properly? Do you understand what they mean by it? Because it's so easy to just snap in an instant. You hear something, because bear in mind your emotions are going crazy. You're not thinking straight. You're really, really not. And somebody could say something as innocent as, do you fancy a flat white? And before you know it, you've gone off on them for whatever reason. Because I didn't want a flat white. I don't like it. Just time. Give yourself a bit of time. Take a breath, just one deep breath before you answer anything or if somebody speaks. And again, having the right people around you, they'll wait for you to take that breath. It's important. It's important to you, and it's important to the people around you. It's important for relationships, but it's really important for control as well. Because like I say, depression, unfortunately, is one of those things that you really can't, there's no real control over it. But what you can do is you can, that sounds bad because I just said there's control. And that's what it is. You can't get rid of it. You can't just shoo it away. You can't just switch it off. That's my point. You can't switch it off. But what you can do is you can certainly try your best and your hardest to control how you're now behaving, who you have around you, how your life now runs and functions and so on. And that's really important. That's super important. So anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there for now, because I'm kind of waffling a little bit now. I don't want to water down what I've said, because I think it's an important message. So please, if you know anybody that's got depression, and you hear this, hopefully it'll help you understand what they're going through. If you do suffer with depression like I do, hopefully I may have said something that you think, I never thought of that, I'm going to try that, and hopefully it'll help. If you're none of the above, it's maybe it's a bit informative. It's not going to hurt. Knowledge doesn't hurt. But thanks again, everyone, for watching. Please, comment, chat, give me some experiences down below. If it's something you'd like me to talk about, if I can, I will. Stick it down in the comments. Throw a subscribe in there. Well, they didn't give a shit, did they? Throw a subscribe in there. You know the routine. You know the YouTube way. And I will see you all on the next one.